We had been running for 12 days without stopping, crossing frozen peaks, collapsed valleys, and wastelands of ice and stone that seemed endless. I had promised Sarah I would take her to the sanctuary, no matter the cost. She trusted me. I could not fail her. When I got her to safety, I would return for Mira, even if it meant facing the council alone. I had to reach her before they discovered what I'd done, before everything collapsed. It didn't take long. A drone at Iron Peak detected the missing enforcers. It transmitted images, the bodies, the shattered cell, the broken chains. The signal reached headquarters within minutes. The Alphas erupted. They ordered 2 strike teams. One would go for Mira, use her as bait. Another, the Council's elite trackers, would hunt us down. We didn't know it yet, but they were already closing in. We traveled through forbidden zones where even rogues feared to go, forgotten territories where the wind howled like death. We could not meet anyone. Any witness could expose us. Sarah barely spoke. She only raised her hand and pointed north, always north. 5 days to Frostbreak Ridge, she said. A summit where the altitude kills humans. Only hybrids can cross it. We had 1 week left. We ate what we hunted. We rested only when necessary. Every night, the same thought. Soon the council will know everything. The council enforcers arrived at my apartment building on the 4th day after our escape. They questioned my neighbors. No one knew anything. Only that I'd taken a classified mountain assignment, a job that paid in antidotes. They found Mira's room. They broke down the door. She was alone, feverish, too weak to run. She offered no resistance. They carried her out on a stretcher. They transported her to council headquarters. The head alpha saw her. A dying girl, perfect. They locked her in the silver-lined cells beneath the council tower. They would wait for the perfect moment to use her. The perfect trap. Meanwhile, we kept moving. The bond between Sarah and me grew stronger with each passing hour. An unbreakable tether that both sustained us and made every danger more terrifying. Because now I had everything to lose. The trackers were 3 days behind us, gaining ground. And the mountains ahead were waiting to test whether our bond was strong enough to survive what was coming. 14 days earlier, the pack council chamber stood empty, except for 3 alphas seated behind an obsidian table. Their eyes glowed amber in the dim light. Between them sat a crimson parchment and a vial filled with glowing blue liquid. Wolfsbane antidote, the rarest substance in our world. I stood alone in the center of the room. Every other wolf had fled the moment they announced the job. Cade Mercer, the head alpha's voice echoed. Disgraced enforcer, exiled for showing weakness. Your sister has 3 weeks before the silver poisoning kills her. I said nothing. They already knew why I was here. We have a facility, Iron Peak, high in the frozen mountains. Inside is our most valuable asset, a prisoner. He leaned forward. You will guard her for 30 days. You will not speak to her. You will not touch her. You will not ask questions. What is she? That is not your concern. The second alpha slid the antidote across the table. Payment in advance. Because we are generous. The third alpha smiled. The last 3 guards did not return. One walked into the sun. One slit his own throat. One simply disappeared. My wolf is stirred uneasily inside me. Every instinct screamed to run. But I thought of Mira, pale and dying in her bed, whispering that she'd rather I stayed than chase blood money. I stepped forward. I pressed my thumb to the parchment. My blood sealed the contract. You leave tonight, the head alpha said. Guard her, touch nothing, speak to no one. Return in 30 days. They handed me a black duffel bag. Inside, facility keys, a silver knife, wolfsbane grenades, and a manual with burn marks on the cover. I took the antidote. I left the chamber. I didn't go home. I couldn't face Mira. Not yet. 2 hours later, an armored transport picked me up at the northern gate. The driver never spoke. He kept his eyes on the road and his hand near the wolfsbane grenades strapped to his belt. We drove through territories I'd never seen. Abandoned villages, mass graves marked with warning signs, forests where the trees grew black and twisted. After 6 hours, we stopped at a checkpoint. A hooded council messenger approached. He handed me a steel case through the window. "Facility override codes," he whispered. The last guard lasted 9 days before she drove him mad. He walked into the sun. He glanced at the mountains rising ahead. "They say she gets in your head, make you see things, hear things, make you want to free her." "What did she?" He backed away. Something that should have been killed a long time ago. The driver hit the gas. We climbed higher. The temperature dropped. Snow began to fall. The road became a narrow path carved into the mountain face. Sheer drops on one side, solid rock on the other. After another 4 hours, the driver stopped. "This is as far as I go." He pointed up the mountain. 4 hours on foot. Follow the red markers. Don't leave the path. I grabbed my gear and stepped out into the blizzard. The transport turned around and disappeared down the mountain. I was alone. I started climbing. The path was ice and broken stone. The wind cut through my jacket like claws. My wolf nature helped. Enhanced endurance, resistance to cold. But even I felt the altitude crushing my lungs. 2 hours in, I reached a steel bridge suspended over a gorge. The cables groaned. The planks were coated in ice. Below, nothing but darkness and the sound of wind screaming through the canyon. I crossed slowly. The bridge swayed with every step. On the other side, the path climbed steeper. The red markers were barely visible through the snow. I passed a frozen corpse half buried in a drift. Another guard who hadn't made it. 3 hours, 4 hours. Finally, I saw it. A concrete bunker built into the mountain face. Reinforced steel doors, no windows. Iron Peak facility. A wolf sat outside on a supply crate, smoking a cigarette with shaking hands. When he saw me, he stood abruptly. His eyes were hollow, haunted. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "You're the replacement." It wasn't a question. "Yeah." He grabbed a backpack, shoved the facility manual into my chest. "Don't look at her eyes. Don't listen when she calls you. You'll want to free her." He started walking past me, fast. "You can't." "Wait, what's inside? What am I guarding?" He stopped, turned. His face was pale. "Your worst mistake." Then he ran down the mountain without his gear, without supplies, disappearing into the blizzard, like a man fleeing hell itself. I was alone again. I approached the steel doors, used the key card. The locks disengaged with a heavy clunk. I stepped inside. The door sealed behind me. The facility was cold, sterile, and silent. Concrete walls, flickering lights, the central corridor leading deeper into the mountain. I found the operations room. Surveillance monitors, a logbook, supply lockers. One monitor showed a dark cell. I couldn't see anything inside except shadows and the faint glint of chains. I opened the logbook. Page after page of the same entry, written in different handwriting. She watches. She waits. She knows. The final entry from the guard who just fled. Day 9. I can't do this anymore. She knows my name. She whispers it when I sleep. Don't look at her eyes. Don't listen. You'll want to free her. You can't. God help you. My wolf stirred uneasily. I checked the supply locker. Synthetic liquid rations in sealed pouches. Enough for 30 days. The manual said to deliver 1 pouch twice daily through the feeding slot. No direct contact, no conversation. I grabbed the first ration, walked down the corridor to the cell. The steel door was reinforced with silver plating. A feeding slot at the bottom. An observation window at eye level, covered by a steel shutter. I heard something. Chain links scraping against concrete. Breathing. My hand shook as I opened the feeding slot. I pushed the ration through. Nothing happened. Then, movement. The pouch vanished instantly, pulled into the darkness. I shouldn't have looked. The manual said not to look. I opened the observation shutter. At first, I saw nothing. Just darkness, and the outline of chains hanging from the wall. Then, 2 eyes opened in the shadows, silver, luminous, staring directly at me. My wolf exploded inside me. Every nerve in my body ignited. The mate bond hit me like lightning striking my soul. Undeniable, overwhelming, absolute, mate. I staggered back, gasping. The eyes didn't blink. They watched me with desperate hope and recognition. She knew. She knew what I was to her, and I knew I was never leaving this mountain the same man. For 3 days, I tried to maintain distance. I followed protocol. I delivered rations. I didn't speak. I avoided the observation window. But my wolf was clawing me apart from the inside. The mate bond was a living thing, demanding I go to her, free her, protect her. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Every moment away from that cell felt like suffocation. On the 3rd night, I broke. I went to the cell, opened the observation window. She was there, visible now in the dim emergency lighting, chained to the wall by silver shackles, wrists, ankles, throat. Her clothes were torn. She was thin, starved. But even emaciated, she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Wolf gold skin, silver eyes, vampire fangs barely visible when she breathed. A hybrid. She looked at me. I spoke. My name is Cade. Her eyes widened. She moved closer to the door, chains rattling. She raised one shackled hand and pressed it against the observation window glass. I pressed my hand against the other side. The bond blazed between us. She moved to the wall where frost had formed. With one claw, she wrote in the ice. Sarah, thank you. I know what you are to me. My breath caught. I'll bring you real food, I whispered. Blankets, water. She wrote again, they will kill you. I don't care. That night, I broke every rule. I brought her a blanket from my quarters, a bottle of clean water. I hunted a rabbit in the mountains and cooked the meat. I opened the feeding slot and slid it through. Her hand emerged, careful, slow. She took the food. Then she did something that shattered me. She whispered through the slot, "Thank you, mate." Her voice. I finally heard her voice. I sat against the door for hours, talking to her through the slot. She told me her name. Sarah. She told me she'd been here for 6 months. She didn't tell me why. Not yet. But every word we shared deepened the bond. And I knew I was already too far gone to ever walk away. On day 7, everything changed. A storm hit the mountain. Lightning struck the facility's power grid. The backup generators kicked in, but something malfunctioned. I was in the operations room when the alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across every monitor. Containment breach protocol activated. Deploying silver gas. My blood turned to ice. The cell's emergency system, designed to kill the prisoner if there was a breach, had activated. Through the monitors, I saw silver-laced gas flooding Sarah's cell. I heard her scream. My wolf took over. I ran. I grabbed the override keycard. I entered the emergency codes. The system fought me, demanding authorization I didn't have. Sarah's screams grew weaker. I smashed the control panel with my fist. I rerouted power. I manually shut down the gas system and flooded the cell with oxygen. The alarms stopped. Silence. I ran to the cell, unlocked it, ignored every warning, every rule, every consequence. I stepped inside. Sarah lay collapsed on the floor, gasping, silver burns across her exposed skin. The chains had prevented her from escaping the gas. I dropped to my knees beside her. Sarah, look at me. Her silver eyes opened. Tears streaked her face. You saved me. I'll always save you. I lifted her carefully, carried her away from the gas residue. I laid her on the cleanest part of the floor. I wrapped her in my jacket. For the first time, I held my mate. Her heartbeat synced with mine. The bond solidified, unbreakable now. She pressed her face against my chest. They'll kill you for this. The council, when they find out you touched me, entered my cell, let them try. She looked up at me. Why? Why would you risk everything? I touched her face. Because you're my mate, and I don't care what they call you or what they've done to you. I will protect you. She started crying. Not from pain, from hope. We stayed like that for hours, wrapped in each other while the storm raged outside, and I knew there was no going back now. That night, still holding her in the cell, Sarah told me everything. I'm from Moonvale, she whispered, a hybrid sanctuary hidden in the Northern Territories. We were a community. Wolves who bonded with vampires, raising hybrid children. We lived in peace. We had families, children. Her voice broke. 6 months ago, the council discovered us. They saw us as a threat. Hybrids are stronger than pure wolves, harder to control. They came in the night with silver weapons and fire. I held her tighter. They wiped everyone out. The alphas themselves ended children in front of their parents. I watched them burn my little brother because he tried to protect our mother. Rage burned through me. They kept me alive because I'm the only one who knows where the other sanctuaries are. They've tormented every guard to try to break me. The ones who refused were eliminated. The ones who showed mercy were driven unstable with guilt. She pulled away slightly, turned, lifted her torn shirt. Across her back, carved into her skin with silver, abomination. They did this on my second day here. My wolf howled. I wanted to bring down every alpha who laid a hand on her. Every guard before you, she continued. They either became the ones who hurt me, or they couldn't handle what the council ordered. One tried to free me. They punished him in the courtyard and made me watch. She looked at me with those silver eyes. You're different, Cade. You didn't hurt me. You saved me. But they'll come for you because of it. They'll go after your sister. They'll crush everyone you care about. I don't care. You should. My sister is fading. I took this job to save her, but I've realized something. I cupped her face. If saving her means hurting you, means being part of what they're doing, means betraying my mate, then I'm not saving anyone. I'm just becoming another monster. Sarah's eyes widened. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm getting you out of here. And then we're going to save Mira together. And then we're going to bring the council down. She kissed me. Our first kiss. Desperate, fierce, and full of a bond that could never be broken. When we pulled apart, she whispered, "The sanctuary. Moonvale is gone, but there are others. North, past Fosbreak Ridge, if we can reach them. Then that's where we're going. We spent the rest of the night planning, waiting for the right moment. The moment came sooner than expected. On day 28, 3 council enforcers arrived unannounced. I heard the transport landing outside. My blood went cold. I'd moved Sarah back to her cell, reshackled her to hide what we'd done. But the bond between us was visible in every glance. The enforcers entered without ceremony. 2 wolves and 1 vampire, all wearing council insignias. The leader carried a silver case. Cade Mercer, your assignment is terminated early. My wolf tensed. Why? The asset is no longer required. He opened the case. Inside, execution orders and a silver stake. No. I stepped between them and the cell. The leader smiled. We brought no replacement antidote for you. You were never meant to leave, Mercer. The council thanks you for your service. The second enforcer grabbed my arm. Stand aside, traitor. What did you call me? We've been monitoring the facility. We know you've been talking to it, feeding it, touching it. He shoved me. You're as much an abomination as she is. The third enforcer stepped closer, stake in hand. Let's end this. Sarah's chains rattled, her breathing sharpened, more animal than human. The enforcer leaned toward the viewing slot. Hello, mongrel. Time to join your family. Sarah's voice came through the door, quiet and lethal. You took my brother. He smirked. I've taken plenty. Sarah moved. Her hand shot through the feeding slot. Chains groaned. Metal strained. In one sudden motion, she yanked him off balance. He didn't even finish his scream before he hit the floor and didn't rise again. A heavy silence fell. The other 2 enforcers spun toward me. You're finished, Mercer. My wolf surfaced like a storm. I shifted halfway. Claws, strength, speed. The second enforcer lunged. I caught his knife and slammed him against the wall. His weapon clattered across the floor. The leader bolted for the alarm. I tackled him from behind. We crashed to the concrete. He was stronger, trained. Silver wire wrapped around my throat. My vision blurred. Through the observation window, I saw Sarah straining at her chains. Her hybrid nature fully awakened. Wolf eyes, fangs, fierce and beautiful. She wrenched her wrist free. The silver shackle shattered with a sound like thunder. The leader froze. Fear flashed across his face. That moment was enough. I threw him down. His struggle stopped. Breathing hard, I staggered to my feet. I ran to the cell, used the leader's keycard. Locks disengaged with a heavy clang. I flung the door open. Sarah stood in the center, one arm still bound. Her eyes were wild with relief and terror. I lifted the silver weapon. This will hurt. Do it. I struck the shackle. Once, twice. The metal split. She collapsed forward. For the first time in 6 months, she was free. We have to run, she whispered. More will come. Where? North, the sanctuary. I know the way. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. The facility awakened. Food, tools, weapons. Sarah found clothing that fit. We sprinted down the corridor. I slammed the override panel. The steel doors split open. Cold night air rushed in. Snow whipped at our faces. Sirens echoed behind us. Sarah gripped my hand. Run with me. We survive together, or we fall together. Together. We leapt. Mid-air, we shifted. 2 wolves, racing side by side. The bond burned between us like fire. We ran into the blizzard, leaving the facility, the chains, and the past behind. Free. Hunted. Together. If alpha intensity, soulmate sparks, and thrilling wolf world secrets are your jam, subscribe now so you don't miss it. Fresh episodes drop every day, and the twists will have you hooked from the first howl.